Stepping up to the couch, it's Brian, who led the league last season in cracked screens. But with his new athletic case, it looks like that won't be the case. Touchdown, Brian!
Yo, what is up guys, it's me exactly back bringing some more daily NBA news, and we got a few things to talk about today, so let's just get right into it. For our first story of the day, and this is one that I am sure will disappoint a majority of NBA fans, especially if you aren't a Golden State Warriors fan, and even more so if you're one of the people who was extremely upset when DeMarcus Cousins announced his decision to join the Golden State Warriors. So like I said, a majority of NBA fans. As we got reports out saying that DeMarcus Cousins could be back in action a lot sooner than a lot of us expected. As sources say, the Cousins and the Warriors are aiming for a post-Christmas return for DeMarcus Cousins. And this report comes after Cousins and the Warriors had a meeting over the weekend. And according to the sources, this is what was discussed during that meeting. The determination was made during a meeting on Friday between Cousins and Golden State's training staff, including head trainer Rick Celebrini. Before the meeting, Cousins was hoping to join the lineup during the team's upcoming 5-game road trip. And there had been no setbacks in his recovery process, and the decision to push his target date back was made so Cousins can regain his conditioning and enter the lineup at peak form. So Cousins was extremely close to coming back for the Warriors during this 5-game road trip, but they decided to push it back a little while longer just to make sure that he's completely healthy. And it is also worth mentioning that DeMarcus Cousins has already been practicing with the Golden State Warriors, including scrimmaging. So yeah, bottom line is, enjoy the NBA season while you can, folks, because it looks like Thanos is about to find the last Infinity Stone. Next up in the news, you guys know how the offense for the OKC Thunder is an absolute mess, right? And how typically it's nothing but Westbrook. And because of that, we oftentimes blame the head coach of the Thunder, Billy Donovan, for not being able to run a good offense. Well, as it turns out, it might not be 100% Billy Donovan's fault that the Thunder's offense is so trash. Because as it turns out, according to reports, Russell Westbrook is the one who has no interest in running the plays that Billy Donovan calls from the sidelines, and instead prefers to do his own thing. As Zach Lowe was quoted saying this yesterday. So here's the thing about Westbrook. You talk to scouts, they will tell you that essentially Westbrook has no interest in anything that Billy Donovan has to say offensively from the bench. I'm not saying what they drew up in timeouts and stuff isn't the case, but they will say that Donovan doesn't even bother making play calls when Westbrook gets into that mode where he's just gonna do what he wants to do. There's really nothing that can be done. And you could make the argument that you have to be stronger with him or whatever. I mean, this is now his 4th season coaching them. I think you just come to an understanding that when Russell Westbrook gets into these modes, there's nothing you can really do. And Billy clearly instilled tremendous defensive principles into that team, but they do rank 19th offensively, and that is ultimately going to be an issue for them. So I guess in the past, Billy Donovan would used to try to get Russell Westbrook to go along with his offensive schemes, but time and time again, Russell Westbrook would completely ignore Billy Donovan to the point where now Billy Donovan doesn't even bother. And it goes without saying that this is a very serious problem, and part of it is still Billy Donovan's fault, but let's not act like Russell Westbrook isn't blameless in all of this, because Russell Westbrook still just needs to become smarter as a basketball player. Now, he's 30 years old. He's not going to change much as a player from here on to the time that he retires. So us hoping for him to gain some basketball IQ is most likely false hope. But it's just frustrating for how physically talented and gifted Russell Westbrook is that he has times in which his low basketball IQ can really hinder the success of the OKC Thunder. And what makes it even worse is when you have a player that doesn't have the highest basketball IQ, not listening to the coach and trying to run his own offense. That's a terrible combination. As for Billy Donovan, this is even more reason for OKC to let him go. Billy gotta go or Russell gotta go, and you best believe they're not going to let Russell go, because you can't have a coach who is incapable of coaching your star player. A good coach who isn't afraid of his star player would have benched Russell Westbrook for disobeying their play calls a very long time ago, because with Billy Donovan letting it go unchecked for as long as he has, he no longer has control over the team's offense. He can't do anything to Russell Westbrook. For our next story of the day, we have an update on the Bradley Beal trade situation. As yesterday, after the Washington Wizards managed to defeat the Houston Rockets, Bradley Beal was asked on live television to not only comment on all of the rumors surrounding himself, but to admit as to whether or not he would like a trade from the Washington Wizards, and this was his response.
This franchise has been going through a lot this season. Multiple reports about you may want to be leaving. Set the record straight. What's really going on? And what do you want to tell the team?
Oh, man, that's nonsense. That's nonsense. I heard it earlier before the game, and I was like, if it didn't come from the horse's mouth, it wasn't me. You know, I got this Washington jersey on. I come in and work every day, you know, until otherwise. So, you know, this is where I want to be. And I'm going to continue to show up and continue to work and continue to get wins for us.
I don't even think I had to play that video for you guys to know exactly what Bradley Beal was supposed to say. What else could he say? No NBA player is going to go on live television and say, yes, I would like to be traded, especially since now that can result in a fine from the NBA. So asking him this question was extremely pointless. But remember that after the Wizards had that toxic practice about a couple weeks back where players were going at each other, we then got reports afterwards where Bradley Beal was talking about we're just now getting a glimpse at what he's had to go through for the past 7 years. And I can't imagine that this is a situation that Bradley Beal will like to stay in as opposed to getting traded. Also in the news, if you are a Golden State Warriors hater, then this really wasn't the video for you, as not only do we have to talk about DeMarcus Cousins coming back a lot sooner than most of us expected, and if that wasn't triggering you enough already, then it only gets worse here, as we also got reports that Steph Curry is just about all healed up and ready to go for Golden State and could be back as soon as this Thursday for the Warriors game against the Toronto Raptors. As head coach of the Warriors said this about Steph Curry last night: he needs to be on the court for at least a couple of days before he's ready to play. That hasn't happened yet. We're hoping that on this trip he'll be ready to go. Now, me personally, I think this is great news, and I'm beyond excited to get Steph Curry back. He was playing so well before he went down, and regardless of whether or not you hate the Golden State Warriors, you have to appreciate greatness, and watching Steph Curry play so far this season has been another form of greatness. And that being said, I also want Steph Curry to come back this Thursday just because I want to see a full-strength Golden State Warriors team going up against the Toronto Raptors team in what could be a preview of the NBA Finals. And for our final story of the day, overseas basketball phenom Jimmer Fredette is back in the news, as he often talks about his dreams of coming back to the NBA, and he's back at that once again. As in a recent interview that he did, Fredette says that he has unfinished business in the NBA and is determined to make it back. I want to have another opportunity in the NBA because there is some unfinished business for me there. After the season is over, I want another NBA chance. This time I'll succeed. I feel really good about how I am playing. I know that if I get a chance, I will take advantage of it and be successful and can help a team win. I am excited to see what the future holds. I'm going to finish my contract in China this season and be the best I can be for my team. But after that, I will see what is out there and try to be on a roster for the NBA postseason. Once again, Jimmer Fredette is averaging around 40 points per game in the CBA, and recently just had a game where he scored 75 points. So yes, I would love to see Jimmer Fredette get another opportunity in the NBA just to see what he can do. That being said, if he does get another chance, I'm not gonna get my hopes up that he blossoms into anything special. At best, I could see him being a solid player off a team's bench. And maybe some team desperate enough to add some firepower off their bench will give Jimmer Fredette another shot. A team like the Houston Rockets could be a perfect fit since he fits into their whole scheme of just firing up as many threes as possible. And like I mentioned in the video I made earlier today, the Rockets, yeah, they could definitely use some help off the bench because right now their bench is pretty pathetic. That does it for all of the news we have to cover today though. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you did enjoy the video, by the way, then why not consider subscribing to the channel so you can stay up to date with all the news, highlights, and just everything that goes on in the NBA on a daily basis. That is going to do it for me today though, guys, so until tomorrow, I am out of here.